Hello, everyone, and welcome to HCTV Sports as we get set for a matchup here between the Hastings Raiders and the Bloomington Kennedy Eagles in this 3-5A quarterfinal matchup from Todd Field at McNamara Stadium. I'm Owen Ely here with my broadcast partner for the night, Reagan Hooverman. Reagan, how's it going, buddy?
I'm excited, Owen. This is going to be a great game. We got two good teams in front of us here as we get set for kickoff in a minute or two, and it's going to be a cold night, but this feels like playoff football, which technically is what it is. So big game here for both teams, and I expect the Raiders to come out strong.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I mean, despite the fact that Hastings is on a 5-game losing streak, it really doesn't feel like that considering how well they've played in some of these stretches.
Yeah, they perfectly said. I mean, they put up a pretty good showing against one of the best teams in the state, if not maybe the best team in the state, in St. Thomas. That Cadets team is absolutely fantastic. Great offense and a better defense. And Hastings, yeah, they got out to a slow start in the first part of that game. The first half didn't go so well, but they put up some touchdowns in the second half. And I think there's some things in that game that they can carry over to this one.
Oh, absolutely, especially the 5 wide. I mean, you look at this Eagles defense, they've allowed 847 passing yards and 10 touchdowns in 6 games, which is insane for high school football. And you look at, this offense for Hastings is like a chameleon. I mean, we saw them do the empty set, we saw them run I, we saw them run power I, the spread. I mean, they really can do, they could win this game offensively however they choose.
They have. They've gone from a power rushing attack that looks like Army or Air Force in college football, and it's gone to Big 12 football with Oklahoma or Texas airing it out, spreading the ball out. It's been a pretty dynamic offense, but I've been saying it all year, and I'll continue to say it again tonight. They got to figure out what their identity is. I don't like the constant changing of, we'll try this one week and we'll try this the next week. I think, yeah, they started the season running the ball pretty well, but they've developed into a passing team, and I'd like to see them continue that in this game.
Yeah, I really think that's the key to victory. Obviously, in high school, running the ball is going to be important no matter what you do, but passing figures to be important here tonight. But unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't think this offense has an identity. I mean, we're 6 games in, and, even in the game against Simley, which I was fortunate enough to call, I mean, they still were rotating quarterbacks. I think they really enjoy riding the hot hand and being flexible on offense.
Yeah, and I think that can work when your team has a hot hand and things are going well, but when it starts to break down and the offensive line isn't used to the same cadence from everyone and the quarterback is constantly being changed out, I think it can make the offense a little bit, bogged down and get muddied down for unnecessary reasons. I think they got to find a guy that they're going with tonight and stick with it throughout the game.
Simon Hedin on the kickoff here for the Raiders. And we are underway here from McNamara Stadium. This one's going to be fielded at the 15-yard line here on the near side of the field, working his way back. Just trying to find any open hole. Still on his feet. He's going the wrong way, but turning around. What is this, Madden? He's going to be tackled there at the 5-yard line.
That is a return that should have been out near the 20, maybe even the 25-yard line, and instead they're shipwrecked to start their first drive here inside probably the 5-yard line.
I see what you did there.
Well, hopefully we can get a shot of that ship at some point, but it's true. I mean, that is not how you want to start a game on special teams, and this is something that we've seen all too much here at this place between both teams. It's visiting and home teams. Special teams has been kind of weird this year.
Well, and now it makes sense to me. I was going to mention it before the first kickoff, but the Eagles have 3 kick return touchdowns on the season, so it makes sense why they would have that.
Yeah.
They must also have negative 15 yards on the average here, as we'll get a run up the middle for no gain.
Little inside handoff there for the Eagles to start this game, trying to establish the run early and also protect against, being inside your own 5-yard line. You don't want to throw the ball here and potentially risk a turnover in one of the first few plays.
Yeah, and like I said, the key for the Hastings offense is to pass the ball. And, the key for the Eagles is definitely through the run game. They have a 33.7 passer rating on the season, so not exactly prolific through the air.
And it's going to start with this, in terms of the Hastings Raiders, it's going to start with this defensive line, see if they can get after it here out of what looks to be the I-form.
Zesh on the handoff, trying to move the pile, and maybe a gain or 2 on the play.
Now only maybe a minute and a half into this first quarter, and we've already got a big third down for this Eagles squad.
And the Raiders' defense hasn't been super stout, stopping third downs, only stopping or allowing a 44% conversion rate here on third down. We'll see what they do. They'll hand it off, an outside carry here, and they do not get around the edge on that one. Reifenberger in on the tackle.
And that's a great job by Reifenberger, getting off the wide receiver block, getting into the backfield, hitting it at the line of scrimmage, and tackling him for a loss. So the Eagles will send out their special teams unit.
And this is going to be really good field position for Hastings, especially considering this year, especially we saw it in the Simley game last week, Milner was averaging probably 10 yards a punt return. I mean, he really squeezes every single punt return for the most amount of yards possible.
Unless this is absolutely booted, the Raiders will have the football in plus territory for their first possession.
And we'll get a very low trajectory on that one, and a fumble by Milner. He falls on top of it, but the good thing is that's still stellar field position here at the 35.
It's great field position. I don't think that's actually that bad of a muffed punt. It kind of came off the foot weird. It was low and coming in hot. Not exactly the punt you are typically used to fielding, but manages to dive back on it. And this is pretty much the best start you could possibly imagine for the Raiders.
Yeah, and I will say anecdotally, watching the special teams for Bloomington Kennedy warm up, the punts were all extremely low, and I wouldn't expect them to kick too many field goals here tonight because there was a lot of Tim Wakefield knucklers bouncing off of the rock wall.
Starting in the pistol.
Axel Arnold gets the start here tonight. Burrow, the back, will get a pitch to Burrow. Finds a hole on the inside near the hash mark, and it's about a 9-yard run nearing the first down marker.
I know we're only 5 plays and a couple minutes into this football game, but so far the Raiders have dominated at the line of scrimmage, winning on the defensive side, forcing a 3-and-out and a punt, and now in this first running play, moving the line of scrimmage 5 yards downfield and opening up some running lanes for the halfback out of the pistol. Now back to it, bunch out of the other side.
We'll have Knoll, Cooper, and Milner on the near side, Reifenberger on the far side. Arnold, pistol snap, another pitch here to Burrow. Finds a lane and takes a tumble there. It's going to be good enough for a first down.
And you got to wonder if the Raiders are going to try to stick to running this ball after the great start that their offensive line has had so far. If they'll maybe take a shot in the red zone here, which they're just a couple yards away from the Reifenberger, who's been, for my money, what I've seen this season is the best red zone target that we've seen all year. I mean, he's fantastic. He's 6'5". He can go up and get the ball. He runs routes well. He's the perfect player for attacking for touchdowns inside the red zone.
And offensively, last week versus Simley, their first touchdown of the game came from a very similar spot of the field on a goal line fade to Reifenberger. We'll get another handoff here to Burrow. Nearly taken down for a loss, but fights his way up for a gain of 2.
So now it'll be third and medium. I'd like to see him throw here. And if they run the ball, I expect it to be 4-down territory.
Yeah, and that's actually been something that Hastings has been really good at this year, converting on 4th down, 44%.
Staying in this pistol bunch formation.
The ever-emerging Rico Cooper, the receiver on the near side. Snap here to Arnold. Burrow tries to levy a stiff arm and spun around. He's going to lose a yard actually on the carry.
So they've run the same play the entire drive. It's been that pistol bunch pitch. And it looks like the Eagles have, at least for one play, caught onto it to make a tackle in the backfield. And now kind of in a weird spot here.
And that is the one thing I wish maybe they got a little diverse with their run scheme, because we know if it's Charlton or Friarmouth, it's a slam up the middle. We know if it's Burrow, it's going to the side. Now watch the fake field goal here, because I did see Sandquist, the quarterback, on the field. That's how they scored on a fake field goal last week. So Sandquist is the blocker here on the near side. We're going to get a 39-yard field goal attempt.
There it is.
And watch the fake. He's throwing that one and just undershot his man.
Yeah, and I was going to say before that play happened, you're kind of in no man's land there in terms of that's not an easy field goal for even some college kickers. That would have been probably closer to 40 yards, probably not makeable for a high school kicker. I would have rather seen them just keep the offense out there. If you're only going to they only ran one route there. They had one receiver out there who was double teamed on the fake field goal. If you're going to go for it on 4th and 6, I'd rather just see the offense get out there, maybe go 5 wide and air it out.
No, I agree. I'd be impressed if Mason Cracker or Bobby Patterson made it from that length. We get another run up the middle, and not a whole lot there for the Eagles.
So the Raiders still imposing their will so far here, the first half of this first quarter, on the defensive line, getting into the backfield, making tackles for losses. And this is, despite the turnover on downs after the fake field goal, this is still a good start for the Raiders.
Yeah, and like you said, they've been pretty good on the line of scrimmage. And, you know, the most positive thing about that first drive is that they had so many pitches to the outside and not a single holding call, which is so common on runs to the outside.
It was good blocking.
We'll get a sweep here to the near side. It's Marshall, and, well, he's going to lose a yard or two on the carry.
And that's a great job playing contained by this Raiders defense. Not falling in love with going straight up the middle, trying to get through the A gaps. Sticking to the outside, playing your role, keeping contained, and limiting outside runs, especially in jet sweeps. And you can't, I mean, if you're the Eagles, you can't find yourself in these situations every time. You can't be in 3rd and long every time you get to 3rd down. You got to find a way to get it to 3rd and short and give yourself a chance. 3rd and 8 is not an easy conversion.
So the pistol formation here for the Eagles, 3 receivers on the far side. They're going to throw a little dink and dunk pass here, trying to get the first down. And
that's going to be close. They're going to say it's short.
It's going to be short by about 3 to 4 yards.
Got to expect they'll send out the special teams unit again. So 2 defensive possessions for the Raiders and 2 stops so far. This is a defense that really started to find its way towards the end of the game last time against the St. Thomas Cadets. I mean, that's a great offense that they played. And they slowly got into their rhythm and find a way to stop the football. And they're showing it here tonight as well.
Milner working his way back to the 45. We'll get the punt. Booming hang time on this one compared to the first one. It's going to take a Raiders bounce. And luckily that was not jumped on there by a member of the Raiders special teams unit.
If you're the Raiders, you got to get away from that football. You can't risk the football taking a weird bounce there, hitting a leg, and potentially giving it right back to the Eagles with good field position. I think you just got to get away from that and take it where it lands. Or fair catch it.
Yeah, you don't want to be as aggressive as Tartan.
Yeah, oh my, that was, talk about special teams blunders.
Well, and again, kind of revisiting the defensive conversation, you know, of course we're going to say it because we're the Raiders broadcast, but, you know, it really is true. I mean, you know, despite being 1-5, I mean, they've played so well in a lot of these games where, you know, just the record and the score are not exactly indicative of how this 2020 season has gone for Hastings.
Absolutely. They've been in a lot of games in the fourth quarter. I mean, of course, there was, you know, some games where it got out of control there, but for the most part, they've been competitive in their games this season. They just haven't found a way to finish the games off. And now I think we know what this Raiders team is going to do on offense tonight. I don't think they're going to be going to the air that much. They've got confidence in their offensive line compared to this Eagles defensive line. As soon as I say that, the announcer jinx, they come out 5 wide. But they've won in the trenches tonight so far.
Arnold takes the snap. He's looking left. He's going to fling that one up. We're going to get a flag in the backfield. That pass intended for Milner.
You got to assume it's going to be a holding call. So we will get our first penalty of the game.
Yeah, certainly looks like it's against Hastings.
They've already moved back. They're pretty confident that it's going to go against them.
And like I said, that pass was intended for Joey Milner, who leads the team in receptions this year with 14. course, we saw that one game. What was it? Was it Tartan or St. Thomas where in the second half, every single play was an out route to Milner?
I think that was the St. Thomas game. Yeah, So that penalty was against Ben Witt, number 50, the offensive lineman. So that holding call will move them back and make it 2nd and 24. Now out of the pistol.
That is big time. Pretty soft coverage here from the Eagles. Down the middle of the field, Milner still on his feet. And he's going to be very close to the first down marker, maybe a couple of yards short, and that's exactly what you needed there.
And call me crazy, but I don't like the play call in terms of defense for the Eagles there. I think you're playing too soft a coverage. You're playing scared because you've got, they're backed up. It was 2nd and 24, but they play too soft. They allow some holes, and the Raiders make completion. I'd rather send pressure there and try and, finish the drive off.
You're telling me you didn't like the play call that resulted in a 22-yard catch?
No, that was the Mike Pettin special. Everybody's playing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. They rush 3, and it's a completion.
The Mike Pettin special.
He needs to be fired. Back to the 5 wide.
Burrow in the slot. And a penalty flag coming in from the secondary.
Are they saying false start?
Well, once again, it's going to be here on the Raiders.
The illegal formation? I missed.
Oh, delay of game.
How do you let that happen?
Doesn't seem like. Well, I suppose.
I'll be honest. I really wasn't looking at the game clock. But that is costly. Turning a 3rd down and 2 into a 3rd and 7.
3rd and 7, 5 wide. Burrow in motion. Less than 2.5 to go here in the first quarter. We'll get a run up the middle from Arnold.
If this isn't a first down, you got to go for this.
And they're signaling the chains.
They're saying move them. They don't even want a measurement.
Yeah, no need to pull out the old index card on that one.
Telling the chain gang to get going.
Now that is confidence in the spot.
The Zebras feeling good tonight.
Hey, at least it's not like an NFL broadcast where they'll spend 4 minutes reviewing.
Yeah, where they review every single play. Now, to be honest, when I'm watching NFL games, I see a touchdown. If it's like even remotely close, I just assume I'm losing the next 5 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
Like it's just because everything's automatically reviewed.
At least when it comes to the NBA, Jeff Van Gundy's pretty funny on some of those long ones. He gets so mad.
I love him.
Arnold looking to air this one out. The catch is made from Reifenberger on the far side and scampers out of bounds for a gain of 5.
And I like that play call. For just a quick little out route, get the ball to your playmakers. Reifenberger's, if you ask me, I think he's the best player on this offense. He's absolutely dynamic. Any way you can get him the ball, I think you have to. Whether it's quick outs, whether you want to run more fades closer down to the goal line now that you're approaching the red zone, or if you want to run some jet sweep type of plays or something like that, I think you got to find ways to get your best players involved.
And really, every single weapon here for the Hastings offense, not to be the homer, but they can get it done. We've seen Cooper, we've seen Knoll. I mean, they have 3 different backs they work in there. There's not really a weak link on the offense, but they are going to lose a handful of yards on that one on the Burrow carry.
Leighton Gabler, 27, the 5'10 linebacker, a senior for this Eagles defense, managing to shoot a gap, blowing right by the offensive guard and making a tackle. Big time job there from Gabler, and that's the type of play you'd expect to see out of a senior in the linebacking core.
Well, nobody said this drive was going to be easy for Hastings. Another 3rd down.
3rd down and 6. They've been running motion out of this 5 wide.
Eagles faking pressure. Arnold throws it. The catch is bobbled and made by Rico Cooper. First down, Raiders.
And that's a great job to haul that in, taking the hit. After a pretty good play by the corner right there. That's Marshall, number 3, making a nice hit, trying to force the ball out, but an even better catch. And it keeps the drive alive for this Raiders offense.
Man, I know we talked about Cooper in the St. Thomas game, but I am just so excited to see what this guy can do. Only a sophomore. Cooper and Reifenberger here on the outside. Another play here in this 5 wide formation. Fake a jet sweep there to Burrow. Arnold throws that one, nearly intercepted by Rajon Walker.
I thought Rondo was out there. kind of an ill-advised pass over the middle. That's a little bit of a risky play, and luckily for this Raiders offense, the Eagles defensive back couldn't come up with it, and they'll get a chance here again on 2nd and 10.
32 seconds to go here in this scoreless first quarter.
And those are the kind of plays, if you're the Eagles, that your defense hasn't been playing that well. You're kind of getting the ball moved on you. You got to come up with turnovers and get the ball back to your offense. Those plays have to be made.
Receivers bunched up here on the near side. A delayed handoff up the middle to Milner, and a loss of a yard. Tackle made there by Jesse Falk.
I'm calling the fade here.
The old trusty.
Reifenberger down the sideline.
The old reliable.
And we'll see if the Eagles come out in some sort of man coverage. Actually, it's going to be taken to the end of the first quarter here, unless they hustle.
Oh, you never know.
It looks like they're trying to get the play off.
Time for one more? I think
weird.
not.
That was weird. Why hustle to the line if you're not going to run the play?
Well, we want to hustle to the line, but if it's too rushed, we don't want to snap it.
Interesting.
So a scoreless first quarter here from McNamara Stadium. And I got to be honest, statistically, that's a great thing for both teams. Hastings has been outscored 29-15 in the first quarter. Get this. Bloomington Kennedy has been outscored in the first quarter 63-14.
Wow. So if you're the Raiders, you should have been putting up some points there in that first quarter, but they've done a good job so far. The defense has gotten a couple stops. The offense has moved the ball pretty effectively, and now they're going to have a chance. Although it's kind of slim on 3rd and 12, they have a chance to put some points on the board here and get out to a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still pretty excited that they're running the 5 wide. I think that really is the formation that's going to get it done. You know, it's crazy. You always talk about establishing the run. I mean, I think in this first quarter, as crazy as it sounds, I mean, we've established the pass.
You establish the pass, it can open up a lot of things, especially if you're going 5 wide. Is it a risky formation in high school? Yeah, it kind of is. The offensive linemen, sometimes it doesn't go so well, but they've done a good job in protecting the quarterback so far. And like you were saying, sometimes you got to do it in reverse order. You establish the pass, make them commit more players in the secondary, and then make some runs up the middle. It's going to open up the playbook if they continue passing the ball effectively.
And I like the threat of Arnold because he is a fairly mobile quarterback. Reifenberger on an island, slant catch is made. He's moving the pile and down deep in the red zone there within the 10-yard line.
I'm not so sure I'm not the one calling plays. I mean, that's the guy you got to be most aware of. This is the guy they go to on big 3rd downs. It's 3rd and 12. He runs just a little post route over the middle, finding a way into the soft spot of the defense, moving the chains, and now they're in prime position to score the first points of this game. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 8-yard line.
Yeah, I think we knew it was going to be a good battle here tonight. The Raiders 35th in the QRF. Bloomington Kennedy 45th in the QRF.
Still man coverage.
Reifenberger might be one-on-one here on the near side. Milner in motion. They're going to target Reifenberger. And they're going to overshoot him. Down over there by the Snowman.
Still better to be overthrown than underthrown in the red zone when you're throwing a fade. If that ball is underthrown, it could be a pick six going the other way. So if you're going to miss, you got to miss long.
On a goal line fade, if you underthrow, that's the easiest interception a cornerback's ever going to get because it's going to be right in your breadbasket. Well, and we saw this last week. I think there was an interception for Hastings. And there's obviously you want to throw the perfect dime. But when you're targeting a 6'5" wide receiver, there's not really any harm in overshooting because it's just incomplete. But undershooting and making the wide receiver have to work his way back, very dangerous.
They're going to stick with it again.
Arnold, handoff to Burrow. Still moving forward and turned about a 2-yard run into a gain of about 4 or 5.
And I think they're going to say it's going to be 3rd down and goal from what looks to be the 3-ish yard line. This is 4-down territory, if you ask me. You got to get aggressive. Your defense has been playing really well. I think you got 2 downs here to try and score a touchdown.
Well, listen, aggression has never been a problem for Hastings this year. Started off last week with a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and an onside kick.
That's pretty aggressive.
That's 2 weeks in a row they've converted on an onside kick. Milner wide open on the near side. They're going to send a cornerback. Knoll in motion. Handoff, Burrow. And he's going to be short of the goal line. That's going to bring up a very crucial 4th down here.
Got to keep the offense out here. I don't think it's even a question.
I mean, so far it has been shaping up to be a defensive affair, but even if you don't score, I mean, that's still a heck of a field position.
The defense has been getting in the backfield. Even if you turn it over on downs here, this might sound crazy, but I feel confident there could be a safety if they don't score here. I expect the same play.
Reifenberger and Milner on the far side, 2 tight ends here on the near side.
It's gonna be a handoff.
Freiermuth the back. They'll hand it off to Freiermuth, and he explodes into the end zone, but a penalty flag comes in.
And if this goes against the Raiders, this could be potentially a devastating penalty.
Well, to be pinned a yard from the end zone or 10 yards from the end zone is a very big difference.
Well, and it's going to be, if it's holding, I expect them to send out the kicker. And it is. So I think you kick here now. 4th and goal from the 10-yard line is not a guarantee, and we'll see what they do here. This is a big-time decision, and it looks like they will get set to kick. I think this is the right choice.
And again, I'll just mention it because I think their last 2 field goal attempts have been fakes. They do have Sandquist, the quarterback.
If they fake, I want to see more than one route out there.
Snap, the kick, Hideen. And it is good. So the Raiders will take a 3-0 lead here with less than 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Off a 27-yard field goal there from Simon Hideen.
And that's a drive that'll get your offense started, get them jump-started, get them going. You march all the way down the field. It's slow. It's methodical. It's completing passes. The offensive line is playing well. The quarterback has done his job. The running game has been effective. I think this is a great sign moving forward. Although it only ends in 3 points, it's a bright spot for this Raiders team for the rest of this ballgame. So we'll see the kickoff unit eventually jog out onto the field here, and the Eagles will get the ball back. Feeling fortunate they're only down 3 points so far.
Well, I am just very excited for this kick return from the Eagles.
This is dude was doing his best Deshaun Jackson impression.
Oh man,
just running circles and going backwards. And
that would make Dante Hall blush. So again, like I said before,
Daryl Patterson.
Oh man, oh man. 3 kick return touchdowns on the season for the Eagles. And here's the kick from Hideen. And that one's going to go.
Oh, you got to hope it stays out. Wow.
Almost staying in the field of play. It goes into the end zone.
Because if that ball doesn't roll a yard and a half into the end zone, that's a live ball that they can scoop and score.
That was a heck of a kick there from Hideen.
So potentially a really nice play there from Hideen. And kind of unfortunate if you're the Raiders that rolled into the end zone, because that would have caused some pretty quick panic there for that Eagles kick return team if that ball stayed out.
Well, and I think that's probably how they're going to treat every single kick return from this point on. And if you're Hastings, I mean, given the way special teams has gone this year, you probably don't want to mess with a lethal kick returner.
They got some push-ups going down on the sideline.
Save your energy, young man. We're going to carry up the middle into a pile.
How's the kicker doing push-ups? Got to stay warm. I don't know.
Yeah, it is pretty cold out here. At least we don't have any players, sitting in the stands eating sandwiches like they do up in.
Oh, that's true.
Your neck of the woods.
Yeah, we had a dude that drank root beer and ate jerky on the sideline because he knew he wasn't going to play.
Basically, just has box seats as a spectator.
Yeah, literally, it's 50-yard line.
We'll get the handoff here. Gets around the edge and trying to power his way through. A gain of about 5 there from Alisani.
Alisani, only 5'8", 185 pounds. and just a sophomore, but kind of a smaller back, can get elusive, make guys miss, and doing exactly that on that play. And now this, if you're the Eagles, this is what you want to see. You don't want to see 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 10, which they've been used to in the first few minutes of this game. But now it's 3rd and 2. They've got a chance to convert some 3rd downs, and this offense has got to find a way to get jump started here.
And there is a different quarterback in the game on this drive for the Eagles. It's Rajon Walker. Pistol formation, 3 receivers on the far side.
Is that pressure coming?
Quarterback keeps it. He's going to try to get around the edge. He's torn down from behind.
And that's a great play by Walker, using all of that 6'2" height, trying to fight his way forward and get those chains moving, which they do. So a big 3rd down conversion there. And even if you're not focused on this Eagles offense, you got to feel good about that if you're an Eagles fan, because not only does the offense get a 1st down, but you give your defense a chance to get a breather. They were on the field for like 7 or 8 minutes in a row, and to send them back out there would be the worst thing possible.
If I'm an Eagles fan.
Yeah, well.
I mean, they are a mile from my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We had wow. Okay. Now they're trying their shot at 5 wide. So we get a timeout for the Eagles.
I would have to imagine that's probably a formation we haven't seen a whole lot of from Bloomington Kennedy, considering their passing statistics.
Maybe trying to take a few things out of the Raiders playbook. Seeing some 5 wide be effective so far. And maybe trying to run some of it themselves, because the running game outside of the last 2 plays has not been very effective for the Eagles so far. They've been getting stuffed in the backfield, haven't been winning at the line of scrimmage. And it feels like their offense is losing some confidence, and they got to find a way to get going here. 7 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. Still no points on the board.
And I figure I'll mention this, even though it hasn't exactly been relevant, but with announcer jinxes and such. Bloomington Kennedy, just rushing the ball, not total, but just rushing the ball, has fumbled the ball 7 times this year.
Not great. Not great. Don't want to turn the football over. And here we are. It looks like they're going right back to the 5 wide.
Marshall and Ortega Escobar, the 2 receivers here on the near side. We'll have the big man in the slot. They're going to hand it off on a sweep, and they're going to run into a couple of Raiders linebackers and not get much after the contact. I believe that was Charlton in on the tackle.
And that's Zaire Marshall, the wide receiver, the senior, coming around in the jet sweep type of play, and they haven't been able to. They're just not winning their blocks. They can't move the Raiders defense back, and the Raiders, the defensive line and even the linebacking unit, has done a great job of getting off blocks, shedding, and making tackles in the backfield.
Pistol formation will get the snap. A screen pass here in the backfield, and trying to put on some fancy footwork, and just a solid tackle made there from Michael Gruel.
And there are a couple of the blocks held up. Manages to give the back a chance to gain some yards, and now it's going to be 3rd and short. And this is the recipe for a winning offense. You find yourself in, you don't want to see any 3rd downs, but if you're going to be in 3rd down, you want it to be in 3rd and short, 3rd and less than 5. And they're in that position again here with 3rd and 3.
And I think part of the reason they're probably not winning their blocks is some of their linemen are 6'2", 190 pounds. We'll get a fumble and a penalty flag, and
that might have been the weirdest
quick whistle.
That might have been the weirdest false start I've ever seen. Yeah, that's the weirdest false start I've ever seen. Everybody moved except the center.
But the old penalty on the entire offense.
That ref was really getting into it. Doing the windmill arms.
He's just trying to stay warm.
That makes one of us.
Well, that's very important for the Raiders, because that turns a 3rd and 3 into a 3rd and 8.
And now it's going back to exactly what I was talking about. You want to keep it in 3rd and under 5, keep it manageable. And now they find themselves in 3rd and long out of the pistol.
2 receivers on either side. Looking to throw, pressured. Scrambles up the middle, and Fryermuth puts him in a spin cycle, and he's going to be well short of the first down marker as a wrestling match is broken out.
Yeah, out near the 45-yard line, maybe a little extracurriculars. And now it's going to be 4th down and what looks to be about 5 yards, and you have to assume the Eagles special teams unit will once again come onto the field.
Well, I don't think I'd want to wrestle with Jeremiah Schumacher, all 6'1" and 260 pounds of that defensive lineman.
Don't want to go after that.
Might have chose the wrong fella. So the punt unit out here for the Eagles. Milner back to receive at his own 31. Heavy pressure there. Milner fields it at the 30. He's got some room to run here, 10, 15, and taking down a penalty flag in for good measure.
Man, they're going to get a block in the back. I think they're going to get a block in the back here on Reifenberger. So I expect this to come back.
And that's a shame because that was a heck of a kick return there from Milner.
If I saw what I think I saw.
Well, spot's definitely moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's an illegal block in the back. Man, I'm good on Reifenberger. Unfortunate for this Raiders team after a good punt return, and they've done a really good job tonight in terms of special teams and now going the wrong way.
And that's without even replay. That's just off the top of your dome.
Yeah, that was just watching the blocking and being like, oh, that doesn't look good.
It's almost like there's a reason we call you the hound dog, because you'll just sniff anything out.
That's right. Back into the pistol.
Raiders with a 3-0 lead here. Arnold hands it off. Burrow. And he is thrown down rather violently there by Walker, the quarterback.
They don't even have him listed as a defensive position, but with plays like that, I think he should be out there the whole time. That's an excellent tackle.
I think positions are more of a myth for the Eagles if you look at their roster size. I think everybody kind of plays a little of everything.
They're turning into the Houston Rockets. Positionless basketball. It's positionless football.
Championshipless basketball.
Yeah. Maybe on his way to Brooklyn.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Handoff here. Burrow. Shot out of a cannon and on the positive side of the field. North of a 15-yard run there from Peyton Burrow.
I could have fit my truck through that hole in the offensive line. That was great blocking. They get downfield, making guys miss, and then the offensive line moving up to the second level, picking up linebackers. I mean, that's a really good job right there by the offensive line and making it easy for the running back.
So you're telling me there was no deer in the middle of that hole?
From what I've seen tonight, I can't say anything about that.
Arnold takes a snap, throws that one, and just some miscommunication there on the pass to Reifenberger.
If you're Walker, I think you got to try and make a play on that football. I think that might have been catchable. He just gave up on it.
Well, that was a free ball.
Yeah, that could have been a pick going the other way. And although the Raiders have moved the ball pretty effectively tonight, only 3 points on the board. Obviously, the touchdown getting wiped away by the holding call earlier in the second quarter, but you can't let this Eagles team hang around. If you're the Raiders, you got to find a way to start taking control of this game. Put some more points on the board.
Pretty soft coverage once again. We'll get another run here from Burrow, who just the first hole tonight. He has just been astounding at finding it.
It's been massive. I mean, the offensive line is doing a great job, and Burrow's done a great job in terms of his vision. And when you're running the football like this, there's not a lot of reason to go to the passing game.
And I think that's the adjustment from the first quarter where we would see on runs like that always going on the outside of the blocker. But sometimes when you go a little more north to south and stick on the inside.
Absolutely. It's okay to cut it back.
Because otherwise it's just a foot race to the sidelines.
Right.
Pistol snap, Arnold. Another handoff here to Burrow. Might have bobbled it a little bit. Still on his feet. Gets the first down. And another very good gain here from Burrow.
I can't say enough about this blocking. Even the receivers are getting in, looking like offensive linemen on the edge. I mean, it was 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and he doesn't get hit for his first 9 yards of carrying. Like if you're blocking like that, this Eagles team doesn't have a chance.
So the Raiders here on the edge of the red zone, threatening to extend their 3-0 lead. 3 minutes to go before halftime. Same pistol formation. Knoll in the slot. Arnold overshoots Knoll.
He's just been a little off tonight. He's sailed a couple passes that should have been completions, and it's little things like that can make drives stall out. I mean, the Raiders got to feel comfortable and happy with where they're at, starting up 3-0 with a little south of 3 minutes here to go in this first half, but got to get some easy completions. Either that or just hand it off to Burrow again and let him carry 5 yards every single time.
Well, and it is interesting that they haven't gone to Sandquist at all. That's really not been their MO the last 4 or 5 games. Handoff up the middle to Burrow, and that was immediately sniffed out there by Jackson Reichenberger Cooper.
So finally, the Eagles making their presence felt in terms of the line of scrimmage, getting through some of the gaps and making a tackle at the essentially back of the line. And now it's going to be 3rd and long for this Raiders offense, and I'd expect them to go back to the air here and maybe look at Reifenberger one more time.
And again, on that very weird portion of the field where, you're not at midfield, but you're a little too far for a field goal pressure here. Arnold rolling out. He's just going to carry it and takes a pretty big hit, but he's going to gain a couple of yards. 4th down and 8 upcoming.
And we've seen that play before, but the big difference is he's rolling out to his throwing side. When we've seen that in the past, he's been rolling out to throw across his body, and it has never worked. At least there you get a couple of yards and make it a shorter 4th down. But the Raiders offense, whoever's designing plays, has obviously adjusted, and that's a good adjustment.
I do like the adjustment from game to game and within games by whoever's running the plays. Because, even the bottom 16 quarterbacks in the NFL can't really throw across their body. It's pretty hard.
You can't ask your quarterback to do that. I don't feel comfortable doing that at any level, especially at the high school level. You got to make things as comfortable as possible for your quarterback, and even just small adjustments like there can make it a lot easier for them. We got a timeout here by the Raiders.
So the Raiders were milking the clock. Now only 1:17 to go before halftime.
So we'll see. I think they have to go to the air here. 4th and 7. I know they've been getting between 5 and 7 yards a carry on going to Burrow, but I'd like to see him go back to Reifenberger. We saw it last time. It was a big-time 3rd down and 12, and right down near the same spot, he ran a post over the middle and converted and moved the chains, and they got points out of it on that drive. So I'd like to see him go back to it.
I don't know. Do you just run it up the middle?
With the way the offensive line is blocked tonight, I'd be okay with it. But just on 4th down, all it takes is one linebacker to make a play, and it's blown up.
I would love to see 5 wide here, maybe throw in a goal line fade with Reifenberger, a couple of slants. And if Arnold doesn't like his first couple of reads, just take off, because chances are they're only going to blitz 4 or 5.
It can turn into a draw, essentially. And it doesn't have to be, a deep post like on the 3rd and 12, the last possession. It doesn't have to be a goal line fade to the end zone. All you need is 7 yards to move the chains here. You can run a little sit down route, run a curl, and move the chains. There's a lot of potential here, but I'd like to see him go to Reifenberger. He's been fantastic.
Well, also because the ball spotted here on the far side hash marks, maybe watch the corner route with Milner.
Yep.
Arnold slings this one for Milner, and it's intercepted, and that might be going back the other way here. It's a foot race down the sidelines. Still going. Arnold tackles him out of bounds, and they're going to essentially flip field positions here. That's about an 80-yard return. We're going to have a couple of penalty flags down near midfield, but that's an interception there from Rajon Walker.
And here's what I don't like about that play. Not that obviously you don't like that it results in an interception, but you're rolling out to the right. You're getting all your momentum going to the far sideline, and you run essentially a trick play. You run a halfback wheel route down the left sideline. You can't sail that ball. If you're going to throw that, it has to be a laser. You have to throw that on a rope so it gets there. It hangs in the air just a little too long. Defender makes a play on the ball, and we're going the other way.
Well, yeah.
I don't like. I like the play design, but I don't like that he's rolling out. He had to throw that ball 25 yards across the field to get it back.
You're essentially punting it across field. It's just hanging there.
I don't like that he's rolling out to the right and you're throwing a wheel route to the left. It's a recipe for disaster.
Well, and also, I mean, a field is like 30 yards wide.
And that's a devastating penalty. That's a block in the back on the Eagles, and instead of getting it out, near the 20-yard line, they're going to get it barely in plus territory at the Raiders' 48.
Well, it'll be, again, 61 seconds to go here, 2 timeouts, but to be quite frank, that's the difference between points.
Yeah, I mean, you start inside the, 25-yard line? You're 5 yards away from guaranteeing yourself to tie the game.
And considering how well the Raiders' defense has done tonight, this will be an interesting possession here from the Eagles. Pistol formation will get the snap, looking over to the far side, has plenty of time here, pressured, slings it down the middle of the field, and that one incomplete. Tell you what, that was very nearly intercepted if that wide receiver didn't get his hands on it, because there was Colin Stewart waiting there to essentially get a fair catch.
I'll say it again, that's the Pettin defense. They're rushing 3 and dropping everyone into coverage. I think you got to rush 4. You got to rush 4 at all times and give your defensive lineman a chance. People are going to be double-teamed if you rush 3. And you can't expect your corners, even if you add another player or 2 in the secondary, you can't expect them to cover for 7, 8, 9 seconds. It's just not going to happen.
Well, and especially considering you have such a size differential between your defensive line and their offensive line. They fumble the ball. Freiermuth comes in, and that's a big sack there from Freiermuth. Going to lose 8 yards on the sack.
And although he didn't hear me, that's how you respond to my criticism. You're going to rush 3. I don't like the play call, but they rush 3 there. They bring extra pressure from the linebackers. Freiermuth shoots the A-gap, going right by the center, makes a play in the backfield. And now what looked to be guaranteed points has turned into 3rd and a mile with only 30 seconds left in this first half. And the Raiders' defense has come to play, and it's all going to go back to that penalty on the interception return. They lost like 30-some yards on the flag,
and I know, as we'll get a kind of a trick play here, rolling out to the far side, and might have got back to before the sack. But I've been so impressed from Freiermuth. I mean, starting out as a running back this year, not that two-way play is, necessarily unique at the high school level, but man, he is such a good linebacker.
Like you like to say, I mean, it looked like he was shot out of a cannon coming straight, blowing by the center, getting into the backfield and making a play. That was textbook right there from Freiermuth.
I mean, if you're the quarterback, what are you thinking? You fumble the ball, you look up, and there's a 6'2", 210-pound linebacker sprinting full speed at you.
And if you're the Eagles, unless you get a really miracle play here, you shipwrecked your chances to tie the game.
9 seconds to go before halftime. 4th and 13.
So they're going to drop their favorite defensive play, probably going to be some sort of prevent style defense. You never know. 9 seconds left. Anything could happen. Just ask Kyler Murray.
That's true.
I lost on that game. I bet the Bills on that game.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, I'd have to imagine the coverage is going to be fairly soft here. But perhaps more interestingly is, I mean, we've seen that the Eagles can't really pass the ball, running the ball. Take it or leave it. What's your best 51-yard play?
Man, I think you block a bunch of guys, run 2 or 3 routes down the field, and try and get lucky.
I might send in my kick returner as my running back and just try to set up some lanes. I mean, at least we know he'll never give up on a play.
We got a coach out near midfield sprinting off. I don't think he's playing defensive line.
Well, we got the 6'6", 245 pounds Christopher Martin on the Christopher Martin
cover 3-man
on the near side.
Oh my goodness!
And we're gonna get a quarterback scramble here, and not good enough for the touchdown. And I think he's gonna be short of that first down.
Turnover on downs. So the Raiders will get a chance to probably just come out and kneel the football and take their 3-0 lead into the half. But you never know. They can get creative. I wouldn't be risking it, though, in a 3-point game, considering what we saw on this near sideline.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe you try, like, a fake kneel down.
A fake spike. You can go Dan Marino on it.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, we saw some action, I think, from a couple of weeks ago that there was a
The fake
game
spike,
winning.
yes.
I think it was Western Michigan. PJ Flex old stopping grounds.
Hey, one of my basketball coach in high school went to Western Michigan. He graduated from there.
Oh, there you go. Well, PJ Fleck will be back there in a couple of years.
Yeah, talk about shipwrecking a season.
Oh man, that boat is capsized. The boat is perfectly fine here from McNamara Stadium as we're going to get a kneel down there from Axel Arnold. And just like that, we've reached halftime. It's a 3-0 lead for the Raiders over the Eagles. Reagan, any closing thoughts?
What a wild first half. I know it's only 3-0. If you just look at the box score, you'd think, well, that hasn't been a very entertaining game. I think it's been a pretty good game so far. Both teams made some interesting plays. Special teams has been compelling. And I think if you're the Raiders, although it's only 3 points, I think you feel really good about where you are right now.
Absolutely. So with that, we'll send it to halftime. This is HCTV Sports. BEC.
Do we know
All
why?
right.
Do we know why there's so many people watching right now? Oh, okay, I see. I thought maybe they just liked the broadcasters.
Yeah, wishful thinking.
Clearly isn't that.
I could have lied to us. Okay. Yeah, geez, no harm in saying it's because of charismatic announcers.
We don't have talent.
Wow, that's obvious. Otherwise, we'd be employed. Also, just for the record, the position of VP at North Star Sports is still vacant.
Oh,
We still haven't found anybody. I was
might
thinking
have to look into that.
I was thinking of putting captain there, but apparently we can't sign a dog to be the VP.
I hate to see that.
We're not
I
that
was
far
gonna
along.
make a joke, but I'm afraid of getting hot mic'd. Maybe about something a guy who used to play quarterback in Ward number 7.
All right.
We standing up.
I guess. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to HCTV Sports as we get set for the continuation of this one. We're at halftime. The Raiders lead 3-0 over the Bloomington Kennedy Eagles. I'm Owen Ely here with my broadcast partner for the night, St. Croix Falls finest, Reagan Hooverman. Reagan, how's it going?
It's going great. I won't lie to you and anybody listening. I am absolutely freezing right now. It's like 20 degrees outside, and we've probably got another hour and a half to go. We're going to power through. We're going to watch the second half. A compelling game so far. Only a 3-0 lead for the Raiders, but I'd say it was a pretty good first half of football for this Raiders team.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even if we have to stand out here and just huddle together like penguins.
That's right.
We'll call this game for all of the lovely fans tuning in on our Facebook page. We'd also like to shout out BEC-TV for picking up the game as well on tape delay. It's good to have people tuning in, especially for a playoff game.
It really is. I mean, we've got some great football ahead, and a one-possession playoff game in November of high school football, there's not a lot of things better than that. I think we've got a second half of action coming up that's going to be absolutely fantastic, and now we're just about 60 seconds away from getting this thing underway.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I would very much prefer if this game was indoors right now.
I agree. We might have to put a roof on it, but honestly, if just taking a look at this field, it's a pretty nice place. So the first time I drove by, I was like, wow, that's a nice football field. And we've had the privilege of calling quite a few games here this year, and we hope to be doing it again next year, but it's been a blast so far.
Historic McNamara Stadium. Yeah, and, I mean, obviously you look at the scoreboard, not a whole lot to decipher. I mean, it's not a Big 12 shootout here.
Yeah, this is not exactly a shootout. Some would call this a defensive battle.
Some would call this Ivy League football game from the 1880s.
Yeah, this is Harvard-Yale at its finest.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Dartmouth Brown at its best.
Circa 1895.
Absolutely. Well, despite the fact that it's only a 3-0 lead for the Raiders, I mean, really you look at every facet of the game and, it's in the favor of Hastings. Defensively, certainly. Offensively, they've been better at moving the ball. And even special teams, I mean, there's always the possibility that the Eagles take it to the house, just given, they'll
what
go.
They've done this year, yeah.
Yeah, given what they've done. But, yeah, pretty solid lead here for Hastings.
And I'd like to see more of the same. I know it's only a 3-0 lead, but I'll keep saying it. Hastings has played so good in this football game. The scoreboard, honestly, we've said so much throughout the season. It doesn't represent how this game has been played so far. Hastings has been dominating pretty much every facet of the football. They've been fantastic on defense. Special teams have been solid, and their offense has been moving at will. They just got to find a way to get it in the end zone, punch in some touchdowns, and kind of run away with this thing.
And statistically, I mean, they've played their best football in the third quarter, not necessarily points-wise, but point differential-wise in the third.
And they'll get the ball here to start the second half.
Kick is up, and we are underway as that one's going to be fielded by Knoll, and he fumbled the ball.
Oh, no.
And looks like it was recovered by the Eagles.
And there go the wheels.
Well, that is not how you want to start off the second quarter.
And just as I was applauding the Raiders special teams unit, they come out. I mean, that's okay. Is that an attempt at a squib, or is that just the world's best onside kick? Because it might be somewhere in between.
I think if it doesn't work out as an onside kick, you call it a squib.
It's a little squibby.
Yeah, but if it works out, it's an onside kick.
It's an onside kick. Well, hey, man, that's Sean Payton to start the second half of the Super Bowl against the Colts. Come out in an onside kick and get your offense, which has been pretty lethargic tonight, get them out in good field position and get it going.
I formation, Walker hands it off on the outside, spinning around and taken down, nearing the red zone. It's a gain of about 8 there from Alisani. And again, we always say, for whatever you can say at halftime about momentum and how well you played, the only thing that matters is the points on the board. So if the Eagles come out here and score a touchdown, all of that talking was for nothing.
Absolutely. The Eagles have the potential here to make a huge momentum swing in this to start this second half, and they're knocking on the door right now.
I formation once again, Alisani. And he got wrapped up by Reifenberger. The play is still going on.
That's going way too long. And the cops, they heard about it.
Yeah, they said that was criminal.
They said that wasn't right.
They said, what? You let that play go on for 7 seconds past the dead ball?
That is, every game we have broadcast here, there has been at least one siren.
Oh, yeah. Go figure. You put a football field position between the two main streets, and it gets a little loud sometimes.
That's a good point.
1st and 10, a handoff to the fullback up the middle, and another short gain. It was Marquez Monroe on the carry.
So the Eagles just slowly making their way down the field, now inside the 20, inside the red zone, ball marked at looks to be the 16-yard line, and 2nd and 7.
And we'll see how the Raiders defense responds. I would say they're bend but not break tonight, but really they're just not even bending at all.
The I form.
Handoff, Alisani, and he is wrapped up from the ankles. Looks like those drills pregame are really paying dividends here.
That's absolutely right, and this is the biggest third down of the game so far for the Eagles. They have to find a way to convert here if they want to stay competitive here. Field goals are not a gimme in weather like this, and they'd feel much more comfortable trying to punch it into the end zone.
Well, the wind is pretty dead. I'd just be more concerned with the kicker, knuckleballing.
Yeah, it's
kicks.
It's just cold, and kickers need to be warm and stretched out, and kind of hard to do that in 20-degree weather.
8 in the box. Quarterback running out, and he is tackled from behind, going absolutely nowhere there.
I think they would have had a lot more success there if they actually handed it off out of the I form, ran a dive up the middle.
Lucas Knoll in on the tackle for loss.
Instead, they get creative. Try to bootleg it out to the outside, and a 3rd and 5 quickly turns into what looks to be 4th and 8. And the field goal kicker will trot onto the field.
Well, we don't have a number 21, but the only kicker listed is David Aviles Rizzo, so got to assume. Snap is good, the hold is good, the kick is up and low, and it is good.
That thing had a sideways rotation on it, but it's pounded through the uprights, and suddenly a game that it felt like the Raiders were absolutely dominating. The Eagles come out, and we'll call it an onside kick. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt based on the outcome. Get the ball down near the 30-yard line and plus territory. A few run plays, and eventually the drive stalls out, but they cap it off with a field goal and knot this game up at 3s.
Well, you know what they say about field goals, Reagan Hooverman. There's no such thing as an ugly field goal that is a success.
That's right.
As long as it goes in between the two uprights, doesn't matter how it looks.
Anything but a double doink.
Yeah, or didn't we have a quadruple doink this year?
Oh, yeah, there's a clip going around social media of a guy hitting, like, the pole 4 times.
I got to be honest, that's such a Vikings moment that I was so happy to see happen to Cody Parkey. Could be the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
But anything in the NFC North,
Yeah,
anything's
I
possible.
remember watching the Walsh game.
Oh, man, I remember watching that as well.
That was tough.
Try to drink certain liquids to forget that one. So, less than 9 minutes to go. We're all knotted up here at 3 apiece.
He is way too far down. You can't be that far.
Pretty much at the ball by the time he gets there.
The kicker's not even past the exit, and he's at the 50.
That's Rajon Walker. He's made big plays all day, but, you got to stay within the legal parameters of the game.
My goodness, it's 10 yards downfield before the ball is kicked off, and they do that. It's a safety thing. So he can't get a running head start and potentially hit someone a little too hard.
So we'll move this one back to the 35. Milner back to receive, although got a funny feeling it's going to be another squib here in the direction of Lucas Knoll. And a little chip shot fielded by Knoll at the 35. Working his way behind a couple of blockers and taken down for a gain of 7 on the return.
So because of we'll call that one a squib because it didn't result in a possession for the Eagles, but, a squib kick like that, the Raiders come out in decent field position, now starting on their own 43-yard line. And this offense, which has done such a fantastic job tonight, moving the ball down the field, keeping the chains moving, being dynamic, and now it's a tie ball game, and you got to do it once again.
So we'll get our first look here at the Raiders offense here in the second half. Pistol formation, Milner and Knoll in the slot. Very high snap there, fielded by Arnold, and might be a busted play as he tries to get back to the line of scrimmage. And you know how I feel about quarterback draws and delayed quarterback draws, but I don't exactly think that one was planned there.
Not much energy here right now. The crowd's not very into it. It's kind of just moping around.
Well, where's the one guy from the St. Thomas game?
Man, that guy was hype.
I would say his momentum is what caused them to, score those 3 touchdowns in rapid succession.
Now back to the pistol.
Pressure here from the Eagles. It's going to be a handoff to Burrow. Solid blocking there by Reifenberger. And that's going to be a first down for the Raiders.
Going back to what they've had success with tonight, bouncing it out to the outside and letting the wide receivers go to work. They've done a really nice job tonight with blocking on the outside and kind of managing to keep the contain out of there. And this Raiders running game has come alive tonight in a way that we haven't seen since the first couple of weeks of the season.
And that is probably the least talked about aspect of the offense, your wide receivers and tight ends in the slot blocking, but it's so valuable.
Absolutely, and Reifenberger being 6'5", that helps quite a bit.
Pressure, Burrow up the middle, finds a lane, spinning around on his feet, and taken down at the 32, gain of 16.
I have a feeling the offensive line is going to be feeling pretty good after this game. I know it's still tied at 3s, but the Raiders' offensive line has done a fantastic job. The slot guys have done great. The outside receivers have done fantastic as well. The blocking has been as close to perfect as you can get tonight.
It's the Hastings Moving Company.
That's right. And they're moving closer to the red zone right now.
Arnold, snap. Hand off, a fumble, and it's recovered by Burrow.
And that's the second time he's gotten a little juggly with it here on this possession. Even on that last run where he broke through for 12 yards or so. It's a bit of a juggle in there. And you can't turn the ball over here in a tied game in the third quarter.
Now you could have 5 consecutive runs of 10 yards plus, but if you fumble the ball, then the drive was off or not.
Absolutely. And they've liked this Pistols look so far.
Again, just shows their adaptability in game, even with formations. A run to the outside here from Burrow, and he's tripped up, and he's going to be real close to the red zone there. Is they're going to give them a first down here?
They're going to move it. Move those chains. Now ball spotted at the 21-yard line. And at some point, field goals aren't going to do it. I mean, you gotta find a way to score a touchdown here. I know technically they scored a touchdown earlier in the game, but it got called back because of that holding call where they had to settle for 3. And you got to find a way to get 7 here and really take control of this game.
I will say it's so weird to see the box because it's been extended this year to see all the players here in the red zone. We'll get a handoff here to Milner, working his way forward, a gain of about 4.5.
Sticking with the run game tonight. It's been the story so far for this Raiders offense. And, in the first quarter they came out with a couple passes and tried to establish their offense through the air, but once they started going to the ground game and their offensive line started winning at the line of scrimmage, they started doing pretty much whatever they wanted. And it's continued here into the third quarter.
Yeah, it's crazy how you talk about, well, we got to establish the run or the pass, but you kind of can do whatever you want when you got good offensive line play.
They've done both here tonight.
Milner in motion, handoff, Burrow up the middle with some speed, and wow, he just runs right into a linebacker. It's going to be good enough for a first down, however.
He's getting 5 yards of carry. He's getting 5 yards of carry before he's even getting hit.
And the Raiders came into this one only averaging 2.8 yards per carry, which I don't know if that's doesn't sound exactly accurate to me based on the games we've watched.
Yeah, and it's when you're getting, tonight they've probably got 4 or 5 yards of carry, maybe more. When you're running the football like that, it opens up the playbook completely.
2 receivers on the far side, Reifenberger on the near side, handoff, Burrow. Penalty flag coming in. Burrow getting spun around and wrapped up from behind there, tackled by Jesse Falk.
And if this is a hold, that would be the second time inside the 10-yard line that a hold is pushed him back.
Just one of the worst places on the field to get a penalty.
The first one wiped a touchdown. As we'll wait for a call here. And I'm curious what the... Oh, we're moving the other way. Wow. Okay, so we've got a... Okay, well, that's incorrect. The face mask is correct, but it's not a 5-yard penalty inside the red zone. It's half the distance. Because even if they measured out 5 yards, that's not 5 yards from where the ball was marked.
So we're just kind of putting the ball willy-nilly.
I think they measured half the distance to the goal, but he just said 5-yard penalty. And 7 on the play clock, so they're trying to get to the line quickly.
Yeah, they got to hurry up here. Burrow in motion. It's a handoff to Burrow, and that one's going to go for a loss of 3.
I don't like going east and west when you're on the 3-yard line. You got to get north and south on that. Your offensive line has been dominating the line of scrimmage the entire night. Continue what you've done for the last 50 yards.
I mean, when you're that close to the end zone, the only thing that matters is going north and south.
It's first down. You run a dive and see what happens. If you get stuffed, you get stuffed. But now you run some sort of jet sweep or reverse type of play. You lose 5 yards, and now nothing's guaranteed.
And Burrow's the hot hand, of course, but you do have 2 very big backs in Fryermuth and Charlton who would be pretty fresh. Coming in here, a penalty flag for good measure is you got the draw there from Arnold.
This is just... So we get a false start call.
On the running back.
And the Raiders continue to move the wrong way here. After having first and goal from the 3-yard line, they go to 2nd and 7 from the 7, and now it's 2nd and goal from what looks to be the 12-yard line.
Yeah, from a spot where you could have just ran it up the middle with Fryermuth.
You run dive with Fryermuth and see what happens.
Not to say it's impossible to run it into the end zone, but now you're probably looking at a pass here to Reifenberger.
And that's what I expect.
And it is a pass to Reifenberger. The catch is made.
Yeah.
Touchdown Raiders.
That's the call. That's the call. The Raiders. And like we've been saying all night, like I've been saying for the entire season, you look at Reifenberger, if you ask me, he's the best player on this offense. He's the best player on this Raiders team. He's 6'5". He's got all the height in the world. He's got great hands. He runs routes well. And he can score in the red zone. I mean, he feels like he's got the Calvin Johnson build. And obviously, when you got a guy like that, such a weapon in the red zone, you got to target him. And when they do, good things happen.
And Walker moved early on that one.
Has that dude just been 5 yards offside for like 5 plays now?
Hey, he's just excited. Yeah, and Reifenberger, I like the Calvin Johnson comparison, although he hasn't been getting triple teamed, so he's more of a viable threat.
There's the half the distance. Somebody knows what's going on. Now, what if you direct snap it here and go for 2?
I mean, why not?
Talk about getting aggressive. Hey, if
you get the penalty,
if you're on the 1 yard line, I'd send my offense out there.
It's more than a 50-50 proposition.
They've been dominating at the line of scrimmage.
Somebody went early on that one again, and we are just going to get an absolute missile that is going to the side there. So I'm surprised we didn't get a call on that one.
I thought one of the guys came off sides as well, and now that's the worst of both worlds, because you start from the 1 yard line, you get half the distance to the goal. You could go out there, go for 2. Try to expand this lead a little bit, make it more challenging for the Eagles. But you decide to opt for the PAT, and then you snap hook one.
And that's so critical, too, because now a touchdown and an extra point would give the Eagles the lead, although the Eagles are 7 for 10 on extra points this year. So
not a guarantee
exactly
there, a little better than a coin flip, but still, we've got probably quite interesting last, 15, 16 minutes here of game-time football.
Oh, absolutely. But just going back to that, I mean, man, especially at the high school level, especially against a team so low in the QRF.
You send your offense out there.
Every time.
I think so, too. You get half the distance to the goal. You got 1 yard to go. You go out of the I form. You put Freiermuth back there. And the offensive line for this Raiders team has been, outside of a few select plays, they've been dominating tonight, moving the line of scrimmage 2, 3, sometimes 4 yards forward.
And when has Freiermuth ever not got a yard?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
And if you get a penalty, then you just go back to kick the extra point. No harm.
Yeah,
Hedin with the kick. End over end.
He should let that go.
And that's going to go out of bounds, and a penalty here on the Raiders.
So they'll get it at the 35-yard line. I made the mistake last time. When you kick it out of bounds, it's in the NFL, you get it out at the 40, but in high school, it's a 15-yard penalty, which a touchback would be at the 20. You add 15 yards. You start at the 35 with decent field position. So the Eagles, for giving up a touchdown, this is about as good a spot as they could have been in when you factor in both of the last 2 special teams plays. A snap hook on the PAT and then another, basically a snap hook again, kick it left out of bounds and get the ball with good field position at the 35-yard line.
So 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter. It's a 9-3 lead for the Raiders over the Eagles. I formation, handoff, and great tackle made there by Chorlton for a loss.
Chorlton shooting through the line of scrimmage, making a hit in the backfield. What a play right there.
I mean, you talk about two-way players for the Eagles. Talk about two-way running backs for the Raiders. I mean, Freiermuth and Chorlton. And Chorlton's also the punter as well. So Reifenberger is going to be covering on an island there over on the far side. Once again, I formation here for the Eagles. They're going to fumble the ball, and that's going to be recovered by Hastings.
And now for the Eagles, you're feeling this game slip out of your fingertips. The Raiders will send their offense back out in the field, and they've got a chance to, I don't want to say put it away, but a touchdown here against a team that hasn't scored a touchdown tonight is start to feel pretty insurmountable.
It was Jackson Schiller with the fumble recovery. And that's the 8th fumble on the year, just running the ball alone.
It's devastating. You can't turn the ball over like that. You can't expect to win games, especially when we're talking about an offense that has scored 3 points through over 2.5 quarters.
Raiders looking to extend this to a 2-possession lead. Another carry there from Burrow of 7 yards. And that's the thing, too, about fumbles is that you really never see 10 fumbles and 8 of them recovered by the offense. It's almost always, 6, 5, or 4. It's such a 50-50 proposition.
Absolutely. It's a coin flip once that ball's on the field. And
you could get lucky once, but over the totality of a season, it's just not possible.
When you're an offense that just doesn't score points in a high-powered way, it's devastating to turn the ball over.
Arnold handing it off to Fryermuth. And a gain of 4.
And that's what I've been talking about. You get going north and south with Fryermuth. That's a guy who hits hard, can lower his shoulder, and get you a yard if you absolutely need it. And that's why we were advocating for going for 2 on that goal line play.
Well, listen, we're later in the third quarter. It's very cold. They have a limited bench. They're probably tired. You bring in a big punishing back like Fryermuth or Chorlton, and
Absolutely.
they're gonna think twice about making some of these tackles.
I agree.
And Fryermuth stays in the game.
Expect to go right back to him.
Ooh! Oh, quarterback keep there from Arnold! And that's going to be good enough for a first down there. It takes a pretty big hit, but they're going to swat the ball here at the 10-yard line.
Talk about lowering his shoulder. Arnold getting low, taking a hit and moving the chains.
We're going to have a player injured here, I believe, for the Eagles.
Can't quite see who it is.
And I love that play call because you've been running so many snaps up the middle, and you just hold on to the ball one out of every 10 times and 15 yards on the carry.
Absolutely. And like I was saying, if you're not going to go back to him, you might as well run a trick play or a misdirection play going off of that, as we've got a Raider being tended to.
Yeah, that's Peyton Burrow, so I think that might explain why Burrow was not in the game, not just a stylistic change.
So
but
we've got 2 players being checked out here, and Eagle down near the 10-yard line. That haven't quite seen what number it is, but as soon as we see that, we'll get that out to you.
And you always hate to see injuries no matter what,
Absolutely.
but certainly on such a limited roster.
Looks like Kyle Schlitty, the defensive back. 6 feet tall, 170 pounds, the senior. Walking off under his own power, though, so you like to see that.
Yeah, that's good. It also makes me wonder, Bloomington Kennedy is a fairly large school. I mean, they do play 5A football. How do they have such a small football roster?
They traveled about, 25 guys maybe? Which when you have at least 22 that need to be playing regularly, that's risky business.
Bunched up formation here for the Raiders. Hand off to Fryermuth and tackled from behind. Might have gained half a yard on the carry.
So Burrow still being checked out on the sideline by the athletic trainer. Looks like they're looking at maybe his left foot or ankle. They've got his shoe off. And
Fryermuth checking out of the game. Chorlton now the back.
And going right back to this pistol.
Arnold hands it off to Chorlton. Moving forward and now down within the 5 at the 4. 60 seconds to go here before the end of the third quarter.
And if they don't score on this play, they're in another interesting spot. And it'll be 4th and goal from, inside 5 yards. And you get a 6-point lead. I'm willing to listen to an argument either way.
I think you go with the field goal just to get the 2-possession lead.
Yeah, and I just think you get a little nervous about it after a snap hook, and you.
Well, if the player doesn't come off sides by 5 yards,
yeah,
you might stand a chance.
Well, it happened again on the kickoff. He missed way left.
Hand off, Chorlton, and he's going to be short of the.
I'm lucky I'm not in the spot calling offensive plays here, because this is whatever happens. If it doesn't work, the fans are going to be questioning.
Well, they're bringing in Sandquist and Hedin, so they're going to bring out the field goal unit here to attempt a 20-yard field goal.
I think Well, they'll take this to the fourth quarter before they likely attempt this field goal, but we'll see.
I mean, the reason why I would just go for the field goal is because even if you score a touchdown, obviously it's 4 more points, but it's still a 2-possession game no matter how you slice it. So I think the score is really the only thing that matters at this point. Although you still are in a good position because even if you miss the field goal, even if you say they go for a fake or just bring out the offense, you're still going to have to drive 97 yards against the Raiders defense. And you know what they say about the autumn wind.
What do they say about it?
The autumn wind is a Raider.
Oh, wow. Actually, I have heard that now that you say that.
Yeah, it's from the old NFL films.
Wow. NFL films is awesome, dude. I love watching those.
I always like their top 10s or whatever.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, you want to watch a documentary on some dude from 1965?
Sure do.
Yep, you got me. You got me for an hour. Like,
oh, a 3-hour movie about Earl Dutch Clark?
Yeah.
Count me in.
Yep. Get some popcorn and
kick is up.
Oh, that would have been good for him.
And it is good.
Nearly hit that one literally out of the stadium.
So now a 2-possession lead here for the Raiders as they take a 12-13 lead over the visiting Eagles. Well, and we saw he was making like 45-yard field goals on a tee earlier.
That's what I was saying. He had it teed up out near the 35-yard line and was banging field goals through with 12 or so yards to spare. I mean, if he was kicking off a tee, he could have been good from, could have been good from 55 yards.
Looking like Legatron out there.
Literally. I mean, what a job he's done tonight outside of the one PAT where a player was offsides again, which wasn't
right
called.
right up the middle as well. It was a defensive tackle.
Yeah, that's how you get your kicker injured. That's how a kicker gets hit. He gets hit clean, like.
Well, I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. But just how long these plays have been going on, I don't know. The one down here, down like the 15-yard line, was egregious. It was like 7 or 8 seconds. You can't say health is paramount and then have players go on for 8 seconds after the play.
He's not going anywhere. Blow the play dead.
The only possibility on a play like that is that someone tears their ACL or pulls a hamstring or something.
You get someone rolled up.
We'll get the kick here from Hedin. Might have gone out of bounds, but it's going to be fielded here by a very dangerous kick returner, but kind of boxed himself in there between the out-of-bounds line, and they're going to start this drive here at the 29-yard line.
Now we're approaching do-or-die time here for this Eagles offense, which is, I mean, they just haven't gotten anything established tonight. The running game hasn't been there. The passing game has been, I don't know if there's anything less than non-existent. They just haven't been able to get it going, and 3 points isn't gonna win you a football game almost ever.
Yeah, and if they have to get the ball done passing the ball, I think they have 5 touchdowns, 11 interceptions on the season. Rajon Walker, the quarterback for Bloomington Kennedy, rolls out to the near side, and he's just going to take off. Works his way through a couple of levels there of the Raiders defense and gets a gain of about 7.
Knocking some guys over, making his presence felt, and managing to get it into second and short here. Got to think at some point they'll try to start picking up the pace.
Well, it's got to be frustrating because your wide receivers are not helping you at all get separation. I mean, how many times have they dropped back to pass, but it results in a quarterback scramble?
Yeah, it's when your receivers aren't getting separation and your offensive line isn't winning at the in the trenches. It's hard to score points or even get first downs.
Well, again, I think one of their linemen is 190 pounds.
Like, this is what I'm talking about. You can't.
That one went absolutely nowhere.
The Raiders' defensive line is pushing the Eagles' offensive line backwards. And when you're a running back, you can't do anything with that.
I mean, we must be getting near Thanksgiving because this Raiders' defensive line is just feasting here tonight.
That's right. They've done a great job tonight. And, they've held the Eagles to 3 points. That's giving your team about as good of a chance to win as you can do.
So a 3rd down and 3. 3 receivers here on the far side. Stewart, the high safety. Heavy pressure there from Noel. And he's going to run out of bounds. And that's a pretty favorable spot here, but I don't think they're going to get it.
It's like, ooh, there, wow.
4th and an index card. And they're just going to...
The scoreboard has already signaled the first down, and the chains have moved.
I always like when people disagree on the field about the spot of the ball.
Well, at least we have a scoreboard. Do you remember the one game we called where there was no scoreboard at River Falls? The lights were off. They were all burned out.
Oh, that's right,
we had to do it by hand. The home crowd, I mean, that's not, you hate to see that.
Oh, yeah, you hate to see that. Well, you hate to see Falcons football in general. They're going to sling this one down the field, and it's almost intercepted, almost caught. Ultimately incomplete. That one intended for Marshall.
Yeah, and that's 15. Colin Stewart, the defensive back. You got to make that interception. I mean, you pick that ball off, you get the ball out near the 35-yard line, and 9 minutes to go, move some first downs, and the game's over. I mean, you got to come up with that, but even after you don't pick it, and then you almost tip it into the receiver's hands. Lucky play there for the Raiders to get away with it.
Well, if you can't catch the ball, you got to make sure that your opponent doesn't catch the ball either. And he almost had an interception on the first drive of the game as well. Heavy pressure there from the far side, rolling out Fryermuth, just coming in from the opposite side of the field, and well, it's going to be 4, 5, 6 people tackling the quarterback on that one.
That receiver, 84, maybe a tribute to Randy Moss, Christopher Martin. He's 6'6", 245. Yeah. He's taller than Fryermuth.
He is essentially bigger than most of the offensive linemen.
Where are his targets?
Non-existent, sir.
I mean, run some streaks and take a chance. You only have 3 points tonight. You might as well try and get creative with it.
Just play him like Cordero Patterson and just give him the ball.
Man. I saw him lined up on the outside, and I'm like, wow, that is a height discrepancy.
3rd down and 7, less than 9 minutes to go, and they were hurrying up because the play clock was at 1.
They're going to have to burn a timeout here, which in a game where you're down 9 points in the 4th quarter, timeouts are, they come at a premium.
Yeah, listen, not the most ideal usage of a timeout, but believe me that we have seen worse from McNamara Stadium this year.
We've seen, I mean, I've seen some of the two, I don't even remember what they were at this point, but the one on the PAT, that's an all-time bad one. And then the
Park taking a timeout to think about punting the ball.
It's 4th and 1. They come out in their offense, take a timeout, and you're like, wow, they're going to drop a play. Nope, they come out, they send the punt unit on when they could have taken a delay a game. I mean, those are 2 of the worst timeouts I've ever seen in my life.
If I was a coach and we were going out to punt and my gunners were lined up in Timbuktu, I would never take a timeout. I would just take the delay of game, 5 yards.
Loss. It's whatever at this point, but man, I don't know about those timeouts. I am frozen. I just want to put that out there. I'm absolutely frozen. We've got 9 minutes left to go in this 4th quarter. Football's worth it, though. What is this package?
Wow, it's jumbo package trick play. They're throwing it down the field, and
if that's a good ball, he scores.
If
that ball leads him, he scores.
Well, that's probably why we don't have our starting safety throw the ball.
Yeah, I don't understand that one, but
I like the play.
We have a receiver throwing. I like the play too, but put your quarterback in there, and we're potentially looking at a 12-10 game.
That seems like a play where, because they started Zechariah Zesh and then they went to Walker. That seems like a play where you line up 2 quarterbacks, one of them as a running back, hope that Hastings is none the wiser.
They're going to punt here? I mean, I know it's 4th and 7, but...
And they're going to fake it? And they are not going to get the first down. Turnover on downs on the plus side of the field for the Raiders.
If you ask me, that's terrible.
Why not just leave your offense
Send
out
your
there?
offense out there. Why are you running a fake? Why would you ever run a fake punt direct snap on 4th and 7 in a game in which your offensive line hasn't moved the defensive line more than 2 feet?
I am all for fake punts, but when they don't expect it. If they expect it, just put your offense out there.
That's a first quarter. You know, it's 4th and 3 from midfield. That's when you run that. But like, I think you got to keep your offense out there and take a shot. I mean, we just saw him almost break one open over the middle, and I don't like that.
Pistol formation, the handoff to Charlton. Stand behind his right guard and moving forward for a gain of 3.
And here, I'd like to assume we're not going to see the ball go through the air at all. I think they're going to run the ball, and if they get to 4th down, I expect them to try and coffin corner and make the Eagles go the length of the field. But the Raiders' primary goal here, of course, points would be nice, but you're trying to get the time off the clock as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that is very true. I was just about to say, yeah, you don't 2-possession lead.
Yeah, you're
fine.
You're sitting in a good spot here with now 8 minutes left to go in this game.
Another handoff here. A quarterback keep from Arnold and upended there at the 39.
Still not taking the game clock all the way down. Snap that one with about 8 seconds left, and I mean, I'd be running that thing down to 1 or 2 seconds.
Well, what I'm interested to see here is on those first 2 plays, it was such soft coverage from the Eagles, knowing that it's going to be a run up the middle, or maybe it's a outside run. But look at how soft the coverage is from.
Yeah, they need to be on the line of scrimmage.
I would just put everybody in the box at this point.
Well, that's the thing.
Another carry here from Charlton, going to bring up a 4th down and maybe 1 or 2.
I think in that situation, you play press man coverage, you put one safety back, and basically say play center field and put everyone else in the box to get after it.
Yeah, the primary concern at this point should not be getting burned over the top on a pass that's not going to come.
I think you go for this here. Try and, you need 1 yard. They've done a great job on the ground all day. If you don't get it, it's not the worst thing ever. You've still got a 2-possession lead, and if you do, you take another 2 minutes off the clock.
I agree. That extra field goal just gives you so much more leverage.
Another dive.
And a penalty flag for good measure. It's going to be a quarterback carry there from Arnold.
And if it's going to be a false start, it is. So you get a false start there, and that goes against Charlton. So now you got to send out the punt unit.
And that's the second false start on the running back here tonight for the Raiders.
I don't know what that's about. 99% of the time, that's an offensive line thing.
So we will get the punt here from John Charlton.
And I'd like to see him try to pick one of the sidelines and really put this thing down inside the 10.
Yeah, don't just Britton Colquitt it into the back of the end zone.
Which is what just happened.
Ooh,
oh, what a bounce.
We'll see where it goes.
What a bounce.
Still moving.
Oh, my
And that's going to be down at the 3-yard line, just as good as a coffin corner.
Not the most conventional way to get there, but ended up in the destination nonetheless.
No, it seemed like...
Looks like the Rams punter out there is putting bombs out there.
Well, he has a name.
What is that? Is that Hecker?
Yeah, Johnny Hecker.
Who's their kicker?
Kai Forbath. He just got signed last week.
That's right.
Because they cut Sam Sloman.
The former Viking, right?
Yep, never should have let him go.
I know, he was good.
His career field goal percentage, I think, is 86%, which is, really good. So the Eagles are going to be really pinned back in their own end zone here. They're going to
defensive line. They smell blood.
Run a pistol formation, and, they're going to pressure quarterback keep. And the play's still going on. I guess we'll see where they spot this one.
This is a defensive line that has done such a good job tonight, and having the opportunity to potentially make a safety right there, they were going to get after it.
At that point, I would just run jumbo goal line.
Yep, you come out in the Air Force Special, circa 1920, and
you don't even come out with a quarterback. You come out with a flanker on ones like that.
You come out with 9 offensive linemen. You
come out in the T formation. Come out in the power I. interesting choice to come out in the monster formation with as little offensive linemen as you possibly can. Well, they did get a yard on the last play here. Dropping back, looking to pass, throw. The catch is made there from Marshall, getting around the edge and pushed out of bounds. That's going to be good enough for a first down here for the Eagles.
I think that could have been a block in the back. Decided not to call it. That was Christopher Martin knocking a guy out of bounds.
Well, you say block in the back. I say I don't know what you're talking about.
I say block in the back, and you say what's a flag? About 5 minutes left in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's going to have to get to
they gotta get going
hurry up time here.
Yeah.
Can't be taking it down to 4 seconds on the play clock here. Marshall in motion. Dropping back, looking to pass. Pressured.
Man.
Rolling out, and he is going to be sacked.
This defensive line is just, I mean, obviously the Eagles aren't getting much help from the receivers, but this Hastings defensive line, give credit where credit is due. They have done a great job tonight, both in terms of getting after the passer and rushing the passer, and also, shedding blocks and getting in the backfield and stopping the run.
And credit where credit is due. That was Cameron Olson on the sack.
And it feels like the Eagles have given up, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Well, they're just taking their sweet time. This is a Sunday stroll.
It looks like they're trying to run the clock out, and
it's a bold strategy, Cotton.
I'm being honest. They want to get out of here.
And we'll get a timeout called here.
No. All right, that's a terrible timeout.
They're trying to ice themselves.
What? Okay, so you've wasted the entire play clock. There's 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. Nice on the game clock, and it's like, man, you're gonna take a timeout with 3 on the game clock after you just burned the entire play clock? For what reason? To avoid the 5-yard penalty? Well, what were you doing the entire time before that?
Absolutely no urgency whatsoever.
No urgency.
I mean, they're not an explosive offense, but if you can get a touchdown here quick.
Like, I get you have to take the time out there because, you don't want to lose, whatever it would be, 5 yards, half the distance. But, man.
Well, if you don't care.
See it coming. You gotta play with some pace here.
Well, if you don't care, just take the delay again.
Yeah, and then hand it off. Exactly.
So they'll come out in 4 wide.
If this is a run, they've conceded. Okay.
Pistol snap. They're going to throw it. Catch is made on the slant over the middle. Still on his feet. Play still going on for some reason, and that's going to be good enough for a first down.
I'd always err on the side of caution. Protect somebody's knees, protect somebody's ankles.
Well, they'd like to err on the side of people getting hurt.
Err on the side of there could be another 1 yard gain.
What's the best possible scenario when you're in a stalemate? Just both teams are pushing nothing. I will never not get mad about seeing the pile just continue to go on egregiously long.
Yep. And the clock will continue to run.
I mean, this is the best case scenario for Hastings.
I mean, they're loving this. They are absolutely loving what the Eagles are doing right now because they are taking it down to, we're going to be south of 10 by the time they get this on the play clock. By the time they get this ball snapped, there's 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and they got a 2-possession lead.
Oh, we just stroll up to the line, take our time, dropping back, and throws a duck on that one. Undershoots a 2-yard pass.
This is tough. Oh, I guess the bright side for the Eagles is the clock is stopped. So we know they weren't hurrying up to the line of scrimmage, so now they can take their time.
Yeah, it might be a bad thing for the Eagles the way that they've been running.
Now back to the I form. Play action.
Quarterback rolling out and just has to toss that one away. Doesn't want to get sacked there on the rollout.
Is that intentional grounding? Is he outside the tackle box? There's no receiver in the area. I
In a regular game of football, I would think that'd be called.
I think that was intentional grounding, but all right.
Well, you just turn around and throw it away. So 4th down and 6 upcoming.
And this is, if this is not converted, this is the ball game. At Old takes exposed.
Well, quite frankly, the demeanor and play call of the Eagles the last few minutes has told me that this game's over.
That's what I'm saying.
In a 9-point game.
It felt like they conceded, 5. They started this drive with like 6 minutes left.
Dropping back, looking to pass. Airs that one out, and it's intercepted. Michael Gruel.
He just doesn't have the arm. He doesn't. I know it's windy and it's cold, but you got to be able to get the ball 20 yards downfield.
That was Zesh in there at quarterback. Walker had been the quarterback for the majority of the game. So at this point, you can darn near just run the ball out.
Yep. 1 first down and the game's over. The Eagles only have 1 timeout left, and based on what we've seen from their offense over the last 5 minutes, they don't have much interest in winning this game. There's no sense of urgency.
Well, do you even take a timeout if you're the Eagles?
I think you have to if you're the coach and say, hey, we tried. We used all our timeouts.
Can't take timeouts home with you, just like Iowa told P.J. Fleck.
That's right.
One of the best quotes I've ever ever heard. We'll take the Floyd or Rosedale and leave the timeouts. I'm very negative on the Gophers this year. I got to be honest with you.
Speaking of P.J. Fleck, I was at the Penn State game last year.
Oh, classic.
I was there.
Classic.
We hopped the fence and got onto the field.
I don't know if I'd be admitting that on air,
we stormed the field. After the game, there was There's probably 10,000 people laying down in the field.
It's so crazy to think that everybody knew the Gophers were going to win that game, even though it's against the number 4 team. Just one of those weird things.
Yeah, that was an amazing game to be at.
Handoff. QB keep, excuse me. Sandquist in the game, and he's going to get the first down and
running with a full head of steam.
Essentially going to clinch the game there. Well rested.
Now the rest of this is just a formality. As the Eagles were acting about 8 minutes ago.
Yeah, well,
that's
some sirens for good measure.
That's number 2 tonight. Oh, this time it's the fire department.
Oh, last time it was an ambulance.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm surprised nobody's revved their engines here tonight.
Yeah, usually there's some of that as well.
Sweep here to Milner, cuts to the inside, and that one could have been to the house, but instead it's going to be a 14-yard gain and another first down here for Hastings.
And this has been, I know it's only a 9-point game. Raiders have only scored 12 points, but this defense has held the Eagles to 3. The offensive line is, if you ask me, they've been the MVP of this game. They have, like you said earlier, the Hastings Moving Company, they have been winning at the line of scrimmage. And it opened up the entire playbook, and it's the reason they're going to come away with a W tonight.
Pistol formation here for Sandquist. Milner in motion to the near side, and it's going to be a fumble recovered by Sandquist.
That could have been potentially devastating if that gets loose. And that's why usually in these situations you just take a knee.
So it's going to be a loss of 10 yards. No harm, no foul, though, because they just need to run one more play here. And
the Eagles taking the timeout with them.
Yeah, well,
Raiders, 3 left in the bag. They're taking them with them, too.
Sandquist hands it off to Freiermuth. He's still playing like the game's going on. And
we got a flag. Why are you throwing a flag with 30 seconds left?
Got to get your quota up, I guess.
If it's a hold.
I wouldn't mind if they didn't call a penalty there and just kind of let us all go home.
Yeah, let the game go. Well, I don't know. Why not keep us here? It's not like it's 20 degrees or something.
Yeah, that's true. We're coming to you from St. Petersburg, Florida.
I think we're live from South Beach. Well, the thing is, I think the first game we did here, shorts and a T-shirt.
Yeah,
Now
that's a bold move.
And now it's just like, well, it was warm back then. It was 60-some degrees.
Well, even the last game we did here, it was like 70.
Yeah, that's right.
28 seconds to go.
So they do call the hold. The Raiders will move backwards, but it'll be essentially meaningless. The game is over. They just need to run one more play here. And
I respect it, Reagan Hooverman. They call this game from whistle to whistle.
that's right.
Hand off to Fryermuth. Milner as the blocker. Another penalty flag for good measure, and a first down if it stands for Fryermuth on a 3rd and 29.
What are we doing? Man, this is, I get you're seeing likely holding calls, but
If we're Hastings, can we just take a knee, please?
Yeah, well, that's my thing is do they not know victory formation? Like, that's a serious question. Like, do you not know how to knee the ball? It's a real question. That's literally not a dig. It's like, do you know the formation? Because that's what should have been happening. And instead, we've been running stretch out of the pistol.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if this can be the final play of the game on a 4th and 40.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no, 2nd and 40.
I didn't even realize it was. Whoa.
Sandquist, the quarterback. Fryermuth, the back.
Trying to get it back in one chunk play.
They're going to hand it off to Milner on the sweep. Cuts his way in the middle and taken down at midfield. And
it would be hilarious now if the Eagles call this timeout.
oh, no. All right, so I think that's going to be the end of the game. So it's going to be a 12-3 victory for the Hastings Raiders over the Bloomington Kennedy Eagles. The Raiders will advance to 2-5, breaking a 5-game losing streak. And the Eagles will fall to 1-6 on the 2020 campaign.
What a game. I mean, entertaining. Not exactly high scoring, but nonetheless, both teams playing pretty hard, and the Raiders coming away with it. If you ask me, I know we like to do shout-outs at the end of the game, or, what was the biggest key for me? Offensive line. The Raiders' offensive line was dominant. They were moving the line of scrimmage, winning in the trenches, and it just opened up the playbook. When they're getting 4 or 5 yards of carry on pretty much every run, it allows everything to get going, and then also the defensive line as well. They were fantastic, managing to stop the run, getting after the passer, holding the Eagles at 3 points. Just a clinic all around on offense and defense.
Absolutely a great game, and probably the last game we'll be doing for football on the season, but it's been a fun one here from HCTV Sports. Been good to do football with you.
It's been awesome. This has been so much fun, and we appreciate everyone listening, and it's been an absolute privilege to call games for the Raiders this year.
Absolutely. So for one last time, I'd like to thank Hunter Pinkey, Max Slocum, Ben Moan, Dave Wozlick. I'm Owen Ely, and that's Reagan Hooverman, and this is HCTV Sports.
See ya.